Welcome to the Weather Guru podcast for November 3rd, 2024. We're going to first start off with weather in the lower 48 before getting to the tropical weather here. And much of the focus is going to be on the central and western part of the country. Eastern, northeast, and the upper Midwest and the deep south have beautiful, sunny, dry weather as well as great seasonal temperatures. But in the middle of the country, the nation's heartland from Kansas to Oklahoma City back to the Red River Valley, Wichita Falls, Texas, we have flood warnings in green and flood watches here in green here. And this is because heavy rainfall, they're going to get like a week or 2 weeks worth of rainfall in just these 2 days here, Sunday and Monday. So be careful if you're heading along I-35 or I-40 into Oklahoma or Little Rock or Fayetteville up to Festus, not Festus, but rather Joplin, Missouri, and into Kansas, Wichita, up to Topeka, Kansas. All these areas close to the Texas border as well is going to be under flood watches, flash flood warnings continue. Very dangerous situation there, so you want to be careful as well. Now, out west, we have winter storm warnings, winter storm weather advisories here for the Rockies, I-70, and the passes there, Vail, Breckenridge. All those passes there are going to be dealing with snowfall into Utah as well. And the snowfall could even reach some of the valleys and eastern valleys and high mountain ranges of the eastern Arizona as well. Now, out west, we also have high wind warnings. This continues with wind advisories for Las Vegas, Henderson, Sparks area into the Grand Canyon Rim Country, and all the way up in the central Nevada, the mountains north to south there, as well as into the deserts, the high deserts and low deserts of California. And California also has a red flag warning for some of the inland empire valleys there along I-10, south of Riverside there, and also along the Malibu area from Malibu north up the coastline there, Ojai and Ventura County. Be very careful as well. And some of the mountains north of California there, the Santa Clarita Mountains, could be experiencing freeze watches and through the grapevine there as well as temperatures dip below freezing at the nightfall area as well. So that's what we have going on in terms of the hazards. The SVC outlook's continuing for the next 3 days here, continuing to focus on the center of the country. Once again, starting tomorrow, we have that enhanced risk here, 3 out of 5 risk here for tomorrow. And this is south of Tulsa and Broken Arrow and Oklahoma Turnpike, back toward the River Valley here, and north of I-35, heading into the north suburbs of Denton County and Collin County of Texas there. And then in the yellow shading, this extends all the way back toward Abilene, Midland, Odessa, Texas, and those areas too. So the center of the country is going to get the focus for day 1 and day 2 of the outlook, especially with tornado outlook. There's also going to be a 10% to 20% chance of tornadoes forming in eastern Oklahoma from just east of I-35 from, say, Ardmore back toward McAllister, over toward Broken Arrow, south, in those areas south. And then in the brown, there's a 5% chance back toward western suburbs of DFW, the Metroplex, out toward Midland, Odessa. Now, we also have wind outlook. All of this is focused on the center part of the country. Now, as far as storms will go, and the tropical, we had Patty that affected the Azores as a tropical storm there, the southern Azores Islands, way out in the middle of the Atlantic ridge there. It is moving away from the Azores here, and the conditions are improving. That was Patty. So now we have our system here in the southwestern Gulf, the Caribbean Sea. This area is given an 80 to 90% chance of development. This will be our next storm. Our next named storm will be Rafael in the Atlantic Basin. And this area here, this phased energy here that was north of Dominican Republic and Haiti, Hispaniola, and into Turks and Caicos, this area is downgraded, only given a 10% chance of development right now. And as you can see, so it's not going to be a phasing two merging of two lows here. It looks like this is going to be the main low right here in this area here south of Jamaica. And this will become Rafael. So we get a tropical depression forming probably by Tuesday, and then by later on, Wednesday or something, we have Rafael being a tropical storm, and then it's a matter of, does it go into Louisiana, does it go into Florida, or does it go into Texas as a tropical storm? Now, good news is that there's heavy wind shear and dry air up into the Gulf of Mexico as well, so it won't be able to tap into, and the waters are not as warm, the loop currents is not as warm in the Gulf of Mexico as they had been in the previous months. So that's the good news. So whatever does form is going to bring a lot of rain, east side loaded. This system's going to be east side loaded, so a lot of rain is going to be pumped into the Florida Peninsula, of course, from Orlando south, and then also a lot of rain is going to be pumped in as it moves over this way toward the Panhandle and Mobile, Gulfport, Biloxi, and New Orleans are going to get a lot of rain too. So that's what we have to look forward to. And as you can see, the wind shear here is very high wind shear in this zone here, so that's good news. For whatever, if it does approach the northern Gulf Coast in the Catcher's Mid area that always gets hit, that Perry area, Florida area, or if it pulls over to New Orleans, it's high wind shear right now in effect in this pink and purple here, as you can see. So that's one area that helps to break apart these storms late season storms especially, and we also have frontal boundaries like cold fronts that come down and sweep them out too as well to see. So we just have to wait and see. But either way, Rafael is looking to form. It does have great precipitable water down there, great moisture. You see in red here, great moisture to work with here. It does have that in its favor. So it has moisture. It doesn't have dry air to working with it right now, and that's why they think an 80% chance of development. It doesn't have low wind shear. It's in that little pocket down there in the southwestern Caribbean Sea there, and that's why it's going to develop. But once it gets in the Gulf of Mexico, that's where the questions remain. How strong will it be, number one? And number two, how much rainfall is going to be with this system, because it's going to bring a lot of rain here. As you can see these frontal boundaries here, a lot of moisture in this system here is going to sweep away. Will this frontal boundary reach it or miss it? Miss the connection. If it misses the connection, that means it's going to go further west. That means you guys in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas need to be worried. But if it catches the connection, that means more of a panhandle type of situation, or a western panhandle type of landfall, whatever's left of it. Because it could not. I don't think it's going to be a hurricane right now, but it is forecast to become a strong tropical storm is what we got here. And this is the area of investigation here. Let's take a look at it right here, and you can see some strong convection on the east and southeast side, but the center is kind of exposed right now. It's still a bit disorganized on the western side. It's going to get its act together soon here by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, and then like I said, they'll investigate and the depression will be forming, and it'll start making its move as predicted by the National Hurricane Center. So that's what we have going on here for our local and tropical update. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing you soon. Be sure to subscribe. Take care. God bless.